Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 56 of the Sam Hossick Media Podcast. Very special guest today. She is a freshman with the Mercy Host women's hockey team. Please welcome Josie Phillips.
Hey Sam, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, first of all, obviously, we're still in the middle of a global pandemic. So, how are things kind of going for you right now?
Everything's kind of like opening up back to normal here in Buffalo. Going to the gym, going on the ice several days a week. It's nice, and then weather has been fairly nice lately. So I was get out on the water, get out, ride my bike around, rollerblade, which is nice. So things are definitely starting to turn back to normal.
Absolutely. And obviously, you finished up your freshman season a couple months ago. So, take us through it and how it kind of went for you at Mercy Host.
Yeah, it was an awesome year. Obviously it was like a slow like release into everything because it was new territory for everyone. So we were kind of fighting things with our team with it wasn't just us. It wasn't just us freshmen, which was really nice. But got to meet the team. We had our schedule that was changed several dozen times, which was unfortunate. But we actually ended up getting pretty much a full season, only missing 2 games. We finished second in our league and then went on to CHAs, falling in the semifinals. And we are ready for next year more than ever.
Absolutely. So obviously, good year for you guys, and you're excited to get back next season. But as you mentioned, a couple of games getting canceled there. Going into games every weekend, did you think, oh, is there a possibility we might not even play these games, or was that kind of going through your mind at all?
Oh, absolutely. It was like we had games, first few games, we were getting ready for it. Our special teams were we were finally getting there. And then all of a sudden, like it broke, like literally COVID broke out within our team. And then it just spread through everyone. I think all but maybe 3 or 4 got it. And it was nice to have everyone get it at the same time because that's like, then you have nothing to worry about for, I think it was 100 days, 180 days they gave us. You didn't have to test. You didn't have to worry about anything because that was like your immunity. And that was back in October, like on Halloween, which stunk. Like couldn't do anything for Halloween. We're stuck in quarantine and isolation. But then once we got out, and then towards the end of the season, like when we didn't have that immunity, it was kind of scary. Like, what if someone gets it? Like that's it. Our season's over. Like we're shut down for 2 weeks. That's the season. So it was pretty scary. But fortunately, we all got out of it safely and got the season we wanted.
Now, take us through walking into the Mercy Host locker room for the first time and seeing your name on the back of the jersey. How special of a feeling was that?
Oh, that was awesome. It was like the practices leading up to it. I'm like, I can't believe I'm stepping on the ice and like Division 1 college hockey. This is awesome. And the literally the practice jerseys were awesome. Taking pictures in our game jerseys. And then once you actually step on the ice for like the starting lineup, it was like, oh my goodness, like this is actually happening. So it was super, super cool.
Now, something you didn't get to experience as a freshman this year was fans. So, how excited are you to have fans at games next season?
Oh, super, super excited. I know at Mercyhurst we have a pretty good fan base, so I'm hoping that they want to make up for the last year and all want to file into, Mercyhurst Ice Center and come watch us play, which would be awesome. But yeah, last year did stink without having any fans. The only fans we were able to have was at Penn State, which I found was a little odd. And then it was like 10 rows up. That's where they got to sit. And then at CHA, same thing, like 10 rows up. And it was like, Mom, Dad, you in there? Like you up there somewhere? So, but yes, very excited. We're all very excited for this year.
Now, obviously, playing with no fans, you didn't have your family there during the regular season. So, how hard was that being away from them and not having them at your games?
Yeah, it was weird. Like my first game, they've always talked about, because I only live like an hour and a half from Mercyhurst. They're like, your first game, we're gonna get a big tour bus and we're gonna get all our friends and drive down. And we don't care if you play or not, whatever. We're all coming down. So then when that game came and it was like no fans, it was kind of like, oh, we've been talking about this for 4 years and like since I've been committed, and it just never happened, which which stunk, but it is what it is. Got through it. They were able to watch it at home, like on the TV. So I guess that was fine. But yeah, like you said, it stunk.
Now, going back to before Mercy Hershey played a majority of your minor hockey days with the Buffalo Eagles, so just take us through playing for that team.
Yeah, I actually played with them my entire life. Like I've never played with a separate organization, which was pretty cool. It's kind of like unheard of. So I started 5 or 6 years old, just learned to skate, and then finally put a stick in my hands after like hating it for forever. And then they're like, "How about you play hockey, not just skate?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, we try it," and I love it. And I haven't come off the ice since. Um, but I played boys up until I want to say 9 years old. And then had a bunch of girls come over from a separate organization and we kind of combined to make a team at the Regals. And ever since then, we played in the tier one, like USA Hockey. We were competing for national championships every year. And then we played in the Lower Lakes Female Hockey League, which is in Ontario. And we were hoping our last year to get into the P-Dub, even though it's like they don't really let anyone in. They said no. It is what it is, but all tournaments we played in, we played against P-Dub teams. So it was good to have that side of competitive part to it. But yeah, always a Regal.
Now, from a little bit of research, you made two national championships with that team. One being in California. How cool of an experience was that one?
Yeah, that was awesome. I say it again and again, like it was a vacation with your friends and you get to play hockey. Like it doesn't get better than that. Like my those teammates were my family. Like doesn't get better than that. And you're able to go to the beach afterwards. And we really did play a good tournament, just the way things fell standing wise. Like we let in 2 goals that tournament and didn't move on to the next round. Like three games, 2 goals. It was kind of odd. Um, but we played really well. And it was exciting. Everyone's spirits were up no matter what. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, being able to play in a tournament in California, I mean, I don't know how much hockey was actually being cared about in that tournament. Like you're out in California, you got the beach, you got everything. I mean, I I was a trainer on a team a couple of years ago when we went to a tournament in Vegas in July, and that was just like, oh my gosh, like we're in July, like who really cares about the hockey? You're at the pool, like I wasn't of age at the time to go to casino or anything, but still, like it's just
Right.
that experience, right? Like
Yeah,
you're in a hot climate area, and you can do whatever you want, really. Like we'd have games at 8 in the morning, and then the rest of the day we're just like, all right, pool, that's it,
that's
like that's
awesome.
all you do. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
but growing up in New York, obviously, I'm guessing you're a Sabres fan. So who are you kind of idolizing on the Sabres?
Well, I would say I'm a Sabres fan, but unfortunately, as you know, the past like decade, they have not really been too fun of a team to watch. So I actually, believe it or not, love Henrik Lundqvist, even though he's a goalie. So I've been following him on the Rangers. I'm a Rangers fan, and I will follow him throughout the rest of his life. Unfortunately, no more hockey for him. Um, but he was an awesome goalie. And if you say Sabres, okay, yeah, I'll watch Jack Eichel, even though some Sabres fans now, because he wants to leave, they're like, yeah, we don't like him anymore. He's a really good hockey player. But growing up, it was Tyler Ennis of the Buffalo Sabres. That was my guy. I was 63 growing up because of him. So
No, that's definitely awesome. So what kind of made you transition into being a Rangers fan? Was it just the fact that the Sabres weren't really the team to be watching in Buffalo anymore?
literally, I think the turning point was I got tickets to a Sabres game and I went to go watch the Rangers. And this was when I was like younger. And I was like, oh my God, that goalie's so good. Like, this is insane. And I just love the logo and everything. And red, white, and blue kind of matched like my junior team. I was like, oh, I like them. So stuck with them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the atmosphere at Sabres games, it's something to be. It's definitely a cool thing. I remember my birthday one year, we bought tickets to a game and it was against the Rangers and it got snowed out in November. So we had to wait till like February to finally go. But just to be able to see like Lundqvist play, and I mean, the Sabres were okay at that point, I think. Like
Right.
they didn't have
Yeah.
Eichel or anything. So like they weren't on the right path yet, but it was just definitely a cool experience. I mean, nothing against Buffalo, but I enjoyed the World Juniors down there a lot more than going to a
Oh
Sabres game.
yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
awesome.
like
We hosted that a few years ago and for a few years. So those were super cool to watch.
now, obviously, growing up, the World Juniors is definitely a big thing in Canada, but is it kind of a big thing down there in the States? I know the States have won it a number of times, including last year, but is it something that is really looked at by people in the States?
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, it was hosted in Buffalo, so that brought a lot of awareness in Buffalo itself, but absolutely in the States. Like I remember we were at a tournament in Boston and we hooked up someone's Facebook Live, like on their phone to a TV, and everyone in the hotel like crowded around this TV, like super, super blurry, and we were all watching the World Juniors game. Like it was awesome. So yeah, definitely for sure. Like everyone in Buffalo, and then you have your area. I'd say Boston's one of them. All of Mass is big hockey state. Minnesota is a big hockey state. Like you'll find people there watching those World Junior games. So
Absolutely. Now, obviously, you've got a couple months until the season starts up, but what are you kind of doing to prepare for next season at Mercyhurst?
yeah, I'm pushing myself more than ever to get bigger and stronger. I've always been on the smaller side of players, I guess you could say, and a little bit underweight. Not underweight isn't unhealthy, just underweight compared to all the girls. And notice that doesn't fly in college hockey. So trying to turn that around, change that, hopefully become bigger, better, stronger in the weight room, and then on the ice, like I said, most of the days of the week. But yeah,
Now, what are you most excited about being back at school in September?
seeing everyone, right? Like no masks, and then being able to go wherever you want, like kind of like a no rules thing, but no rules as no COVID rules. But it'll be nice to finally see everyone's faces without like masks and stuff. So
At a lot of schools, I know it's definitely a big thing down in the States as well. But what sport are you excited to go see next season that you weren't able to see this year?
hmm. Well, not that I'd be able to go see, just because of like hockey, like we are on the weekends and usually games are on the weekends. But football is like a big thing, whether it's like college or back in Buffalo. Love watching the Bills, and then I obviously haven't seen any other sports that Mercyhurst play, because didn't let us. But definitely, I think I'd say football for that one.
Now, we kind of touched on it earlier, but I guess we'll
Can you hear me, Sam? I think I lost you.
yeah, I think are we good now?
Oh, we're good now. We're good now.
Yeah, so going into next, obviously you didn't there this year, but how excited? All right, I think we're good now.
We're back. Damn Canadian
Yeah,
weather.
we're back. Yeah, Canadian weather, absolutely love it up here in Ontario. So, obviously, last year you didn't get your parents at games, so just talk about being able to have them see you in your first NCAA game next year. We'll call it that.
Right, that'll be awesome. Like being able to see me in my uniform, and like after four years, like leading up to this, it's gonna be like kind of like a deep breath and like, oh my gosh, finally here, finally came. Um, like I said, they did get to see me NCHAs at Penn State, but like from a distance, and they complain they couldn't even see me after. They couldn't really see much during. So it'll be cool to interact with them after the right after the game, go out to dinner after, and then get ready for the rest of the weekend. But yeah, it'll be exciting.
Now we'll get into some team fun here. Who's the best and worst TikToker on the Mercy host women's hockey team?
TikToker. All right, I know for sure. Summer and now I gotta think. Summer definitely was very active on TikTok. Um, so was freshman Chantel St. Croix, and Paige Whaley. And they had some funny ones with each other. But I'm not gonna say best or worst. I'm just gonna say those are the TikTokers.
Loudest in the room and on the ice.
Loudest. All right. In the locker room, Gabby Cox. And then on the ice, I'm gonna say Vasco is super, super fun, energetic, and loud on the ice. Captain Vasco.
Most likely to forget something in an overnight trip.
Ooh. I'm just gonna say Aubrey Cole, because she forgot something her freshman year and will never haunt it down. She forgot coach's skates, coach's bag. It was her freshman duty, and yeah, she got it good. I wasn't there that year for it, but she will never live that down.
Yeah, I'm sure definitely probably didn't get to play the next game after forgetting that. I mean, not
Yeah.
sure what happens down there, but definitely if that happened up in junior up in Canada, I guarantee like in boys hockey for sure, you're not seeing ice for the next like 10 games.
Yep. So funny.
Now, what's the best advice you can give to a freshman going to Mercy Host next year?
You can never over prepare. Like you can never over prepare for college hockey. You want to put yourself in the best position you can for your first year. So you're not like miserable and disappointed with yourself and kind of fighting to get back up and fighting to make your like prove yourself. So if you can come in the best athlete, the best hockey player, best person you can be, that's all I can say you can do.
Now, a couple months back, the Women's World Championships were canceled to say. They obviously have been rescheduled to August, but just take us through your first reaction of hearing the tournament being canceled.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. We were in the locker room actually, and we had one girl go overseas. Our goalie, Jana Silvanen, she went overseas to go play for Finland, and then Captain Vasco, she went home to Canada to go to the camp. And we all knew she was there. She didn't even get to go to graduation, like because she left. She left early, and then with the border situation, like couldn't come back. Um, and we got the news in the locker room. One of the girls said it, and we're like, "Are you kidding?" We're like, "We can't even imagine what these girls must be feeling like right now. Like that is ridiculous." And then for no one to cancel like the guys and for the guys to still go on, it was kind of like, well, why? Like, what's the reason, right? No one really gave a reason, which was frustrating. I mean, of course, we're happy to see hockey be played, but like keep it even. You know what I mean? Um, but I'm glad to see it rescheduled, and we're all excited for that. So
Yeah, I mean, as a Canadian, it was definitely devastating to see. I mean, Jenna Buglioni, who's been on the show, was at the camp for Canada, and Aaron Frankel, who was on the show as well, was at the camp for Team USA. And I mean, Aaron Frankel is an outstanding goalie and definitely would have helped USA probably win that sixth straight gold medal. But it
absolutely.
was definitely frustrating to see. I mean, the under 18s, as you kind of touched on there for the men's, was happening in Texas. I mean, obviously some states don't really care about COVID, it seems
Right,
like, especially
right.
Texas. I mean, they had 45,000 people at the baseball game that week. So I think
No big deal.
COVID's really not a thing there. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, I mean, I won't touch on it too much, but I had buddies on the Canadian team. I'm glad as a Canadian we got to win it. But I mean, there were players not on Canada, but other countries that weren't wearing masks. I mean, the one game against Canada, the Switzerland coach didn't even have a mask on. Like, I get that, like, you don't like have the rules down there, but still, like, you should still be like protecting yourself and protecting your team in a sense. So yeah,
Right.
definitely was disappointing, but I mean it definitely wasn't on the IHF. I think the Nova Scotia government definitely dropped the ball and hit the panic button. So I'm glad that Hockey Canada and a different province was able to say, "Hey, let's actually play this tournament. These girls
Right.
deserve it."
Right.
And that's going to lead into our next topic here. Obviously, going into that tournament, this is the big tournament for the women's, especially because we have an Olympics next year. So, just take us through who some of your picks for Team USA might be heading into the Olympics with this tournament coming up.
Hmm. Well, I'm hoping to see a lot of new and fresh faces, especially from college hockey. Obviously, you know, the big ones from like Team USA, like Hillary Knight, Brianna Decker. Like you're gonna see those. Those girls are never going away. This might be their last one. They're getting a little older. Um, but like that's what I grew up watching, right? When I watched the Olympics, like those are the girls I grew up watching since I was born. Like they've literally been on the team since I was born. But I am hoping to see some new faces in college hockey. I genuinely like have no idea who is even close and who's competing within that because I'm so focused on, you know, making myself the best hockey player I can. But it would be pretty cool to see some girls post Mercyhurst, like some Mercyhurst grads. I know Megan Augusta on Team Canada. I don't know if she's still playing, but that'd be super cool to see her again. And then any like I said, any Mercyhurst girls go, and that would be or guys go would be awesome to see. So
Absolutely. Now we'll transition to the men's side a little bit. Who are some of your picks for the Team USA team? I think we'll go with saying NHL players are going to go because I know the one proposal that is being presented to the NHL for next season does have the break with the guys going to the Olympics. So let's hear some of your picks for them.
well, okay, so obviously they had the worlds not too long ago. Was that the U18 or was it like any age? I thought that was the any age.
They had the under 18s, and then in early May was the World Championships.
Yeah, so I have a feeling like is there going to be similar rosters to that one or not at all?
I think from what I understand is there's two proposals going to the NHL, one with the 2-week break where the NHL needs to take their break because the guys are going to be at the Olympics, and the other one has it outlined where there's no NHL players being allowed to go. So it's kind of up in the air, but we'll kind of go with saying NHL players are allowed to go.
Yeah, I mean, it would only be fun, right? If NHL players can go, but it'll be all your headline players, right? All your stars on
Yeah.
each team. It'd be super, super cool to see, you know, Mr. Hobie Baker, Cole Caulfield, like go in the Olympics. Like he's made it this far, right? Hobie wins like all these in college, and then he's like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna go play in the NHL. Now he's playing a Stanley Cup final, like all that in a matter of like 2 years would be absolutely
Yeah.
insane to see. Like that would be insane. So I'm definitely hoping to see that. And then you're going to need your vets, some of your vets to help out there, those older guys. But I mean, I don't know. That's tough. How do you not have NHL players go to the Olympics? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough enough 4 years ago, right? Like we didn't have it then, and like obviously, I mean, Team USA came out on top on the women's side, and I didn't even watch the men's side because I think Germany was in the finals, and I was like, yeah, we're not watching the Olympic final with Germany in it. So, yeah, I don't even remember. I think Russia wanted to do something like, and it was like the Russian Olympic Committee, like it wasn't even actually Russia, like
Yeah,
they
whatever. Yeah.
they boycotted like so many like IIHF like things. Like they don't even wear Russian jerseys anymore. Like it's
Really?
almost like, I don't even get it. Yeah, like in the under 18s they weren't wearing Russia jerseys. Like it was like totally different name. They had it the same thing at like the World Championships, and I mean, I think it's just the men's side, honestly. I think the women's side going into the like world championships in August, they're gonna be wearing Russian jerseys. I think. Like
Right.
I don't
Right.
know too much about it, but yeah, it's just like teams like that. But like you've got like definitely upsets too coming. Hopefully, I mean,
Yeah,
if it's an Olympics without the top name guys there, I think there are going to be some Olympic upsets, and I mean, you'll probably have
yeah,
Slovakia and like Czech Republic or something in the finals if like no one's
yeah.
there. But
Well, that's kind of like what I've learned with the upsets and stuff. Like I've recently learned that like overseas, okay, for the women's side, you can go over and play professional, play for 6 months, and then that nation can say like, okay, we want you on our national team. We're gonna get you a visa. We're gonna get you a dual citizenship. You're playing for us. And it's like this girl is completely American, completely full like USA, whatever. Like this is why teams like I talk about all the time with some of my teammates, like Norway is going to get beat by them because they have Americans on a team. And
yeah,
it's like I thought the whole point of the Olympics was for like your country to play other countries, right? Like that's I don't know. I guess that's just my opinion, but it's kind of frustrating to see that. But it's giving more women like the opportunity to play in these Olympics and in this experience. And when people watch, it's like, oh, so it's not beating up on all these teams. Like this is a competitive game, like with all countries. So I guess maybe that's not too much of a downside. So
yeah, I mean, I think after this Olympics, we're gonna definitely see a bigger thing of college players being in them. Obviously, with Team USA, you've got Hillary Knight and a couple others that this will probably be their last Olympics. And I mean, on the men's side, you've got like Shea Weber, Sidney Crosby, Ovechkin, all those guys. This is definitely their last Olympics. Like they've been around 15, 16 years already. Like there's no way that you're going to see Sidney Crosby in 4 years again at the Olympics. So,
no,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
Canada can soak that up as much as we want. I mean, 11 years ago, as crazy as it was beating Ryan Miller, 11 years ago, and he's still playing in the National Hockey League and still winning. Like he hadn't even won a Stanley Cup at that point, and he had to wait 6 more years to even get one. So I mean,
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
it's definitely crazy, but as you mentioned, Cole Caulfield, he's absolutely disgusting. Like oh my goodness, like that's insane. That like 6 months ago he wins a World Juniors and now he's in the Stanley Cup final. Like
Crazy. Crazy.
his like the timeline from World Juniors, then he gets a Hobie Baker the same day he makes his debut in the AHL, and then he's up in the NHL like a week and a half later scoring goals. So
That kid
yeah,
is living the hockey player's dream right now, like the absolute dream.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone's kind of got to cheer for him a little bit with the success he's having. And the unreal thing about him is that he didn't play enough games this year to be classified as a rookie in the NHL. So his rookie season is next year. So if he
What?
comes out and tears it up like he is, I mean, he's gonna win the rookie of the year in the NHL without a doubt. Like,
Yeah.
I
Wow.
mean,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's insane because I think he missed the deadline and he only played like 10 or 11 games with the Canadians at the end of the year. So he had to
Right.
play a lot more than that to be able to even get like considered for it. So I
Huh.
mean,
Good for
yeah,
him.
it was definitely insane. And I mean, obviously, everyone saw what Kaprizov did coming in after not being in the league for 6 years after being drafted a while ago. And I mean, Caulfield only a year after getting drafted goes back to Wisconsin, tears it up. They had a terrible ending to their year, but I mean, comes out and scores 30 goals during the season and then just continues it now. Like I think on Sportsnet up here in Canada, they had a graphic the other day and he has like 45 goals in 60 games this year, like combined between everywhere. Like just that's how insane he has been. Like
Yeah.
you don't really see that like those numbers. Obviously, 30 of those goals don't count because they came in the NCAA, but still,
Whatever.
like
Yeah, still, that's top tier hockey for that age, right? Like
yeah,
it doesn't get
exactly.
better than that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Crazy.
Now, going into next year, what's one thing that you can tell freshmen about playing at Mercyhurst?
Be a hard worker, like compete every practice. Like it will pay off. Like we are a team that is a family and we'll stick together and push you to make you the best hockey player you can. Like it's an awesome culture. It's awesome walking into the rink, walking into the locker room and feeling the energy from everyone. Like it's such a positive environment. Like if you put in the work and you're a hard worker, you're going to be fine. You'll be fine. So
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of the listeners, I'd like to thank Jersey for hopping on here and talking college hockey. And to the listeners, Canadian weather knocked it out for about a minute, but who cares? It was still a blast. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.